Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Thursday, January the 13th. Now, we got a shorter slate today. We just got a little 5-game slate, but as always, guys, we're going to go game by game. We're going to talk through each one of these 5 games, break down each team, kind of give my early thoughts, what I do like, taking a first look at this slate on Wednesday night. And then as we go through each game, we'll build out an early core. We'll talk about 5 players I specifically like for both DraftKings and for Yahoo at first look. But as always, if you guys really enjoy these first look videos, you want to get more content from me, I do provide a lot more updated content over on Patreon. You can check that out. It's linked down below in the description. You can get access to all of my full, updated DFS content, my updated core plays, my positional plays, my favorite plays at each position, my rankings, top 20 plays of the day ranked in order of interest. That's available for Patreon members. You can get in our Discord chat, where you can ask me questions throughout the day. I'm always in Discord to answer questions for the Patreon members. And again, another thing you get is my prize picks plays. So each day I do give out some of my favorite picks on prize picks, and I also share the entries that I am playing myself. So if you want to tell me with the entries that I'm playing, or if you just want some of my favorite picks for prize picks, I give those out for Patreon members. And for those of you that are new here, Prize Picks is the sponsor of this video. So if you want to go check them out, they're more of a player prop based DFS site. It is very simple. You just pick the over or the under on players' projections. As you can see, they do already have some stuff posted for Thursday night's NBA games. They have point projections, rebounds, assists, three-pointers made. They'll get fantasy point projections posted too. And again, you just pick the over or the under. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 5 picks, and you can win up to 10 extra money on Prize Picks. They have a ton of sports available. You can mix and match sports. If you have not yet, guys, go check them out. Sign up and use code NOAH, and they will match your first deposit. Prize Picks will give you a free bet up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. But yeah, let's take a look at Thursday's 5-game slate. We're going to start off with the Warriors and Bucks game. So this should be a really, really good game, specifically just to watch. Obviously, these are 2 really good teams going up against each other. These teams aren't at full strength right now. Draymond's going to be out for Golden State. Drew Holiday's doubtful for Milwaukee, so Drew should be out as well. But still, I think this is a game we do want some exposure to. Steph Curry at 11,200. I don't think he's going to be someone I really look to go to on this slate. Now, Steph Curry is coming off a big game against Memphis, 62 DraftKings points last game, had a triple-double. I don't know why, but it seems like Steph, just every time he plays Memphis, he goes off. I think a lot of his best games this year have come against the Grizzlies. This spot here against Milwaukee, I think, better than you would think, just because without Drew Holiday, that does make this, Milwaukee defense a little bit worse, especially against guards. I think this is a matchup that Steph can have some success in. I know Milwaukee's always been a team that has allowed a lot of three-point attempts, and obviously Steph is one of the best three-point shooters of all time. So I think Steph is a low-owned tournament play, makes some sense. Now, straight up, I would rather play Giannis. I would rather play Jokic, who we also have on the slate, but I think Steph gets really low ownership, which obviously makes him somewhat appealing in tournaments on a shorter slate like this. Andrew Wiggins at 6'3", I'm not really that interested in. Klay Thompson, we don't really know how many minutes he's going to play. He played around 20 minutes last game. He's been limited to around 20 minutes so far this year through 2 games. This is the front end of a back-to-back for the Warriors. The Warriors do play again on Friday. Klay is going to rest Friday. So maybe with Klay resting Friday, they give him a few extra minutes today. We don't really know. I don't think Klay's going to be viable until we see him play more than 20 minutes. So unless we get word that he's going to play like 30 minutes, which I think is pretty unlikely, don't have much interest in Klay, and really don't have much interest in the rest of the Warriors. Juan Toscano-Anderson started last game in place of Draymond, but he did nothing. He played 7 minutes, scored 1 DraftKings point. I don't know what they're going to do with the starting lineup today. I don't know if they're going to start Juan Toscano-Anderson again, or if they're going to change things up, maybe go with Otto Porter, maybe go with Gary Payton. I think Gary Payton actually started the second half over Toscano-Anderson last game, if I remember correctly. So maybe they start Gary Payton today. If he winds up starting, he's only 4,600. He'd be a decent value play, but I don't think I'd be that excited about him. Really, on the Warriors, I think it's just Steph is a low-owned dart throw in tournaments, and that's probably it from this Golden State team. Now, on the Milwaukee side, looking at the Bucks, Giannis I definitely like on the slate. He's expensive at 12-3, but I think this is a spot where Giannis can definitely have success. No Draymond for Golden State does make their defense worse. I don't know if they really have someone that's going to be able to stop Giannis. They got Kevon Looney, they got Iguodala, Otto Porter, but these guys aren't going to slow down Giannis. I think not having Draymond out there is going to be tough for this Warriors team to stop Giannis, especially with how much he's just got the ball in his hands right now. He's basically been the starting point guard as of late with Drew out. Drew's doubtful again, so he should be out once again. At 12-3, even though it's an expensive price point, I like Giannis quite a bit on this slate. I think this game does stay close, and we do get 34, 35 minutes from Giannis. He's one of my favorite pay-up options for sure at first look. Definitely like him on Yahoo as well if you want to play him over there, $56 at the power forward position. Like Giannis quite a bit on this slate. I think Chris Middleton's solid too. Now, Middleton's price has come up a decent amount, but the last few games without Drew, he's been really good. 53 DK points against Charlotte, 57 last game. He's been crushing as of late, been playing big minutes. I think Middleton is going to get a lot of opportunity without Drew. We've seen the peripherals be up for him. 7 rebounds, 11 assists last game, 10 rebounds, 9 assists the game before that. We know he's going to shoot the ball plenty of times. He's going to shoot the ball 15, 20 times. The usage, the opportunity, it's going to be there for Middleton. He's playing big minutes. So, yeah, I think Middleton at 8,700 is still viable. Now, Bobby Portis at 6,900. Not as excited about Bobby Portis. His minutes have been high as of late, and I think having Boogie Cousins no longer on the team has really benefited Bobby Portis. He's been getting into the upper 30s in minutes, which is really good to see. But again, he's almost 7K now. I don't think Bobby Portis really stands out at his price point. I don't think there's too much else I'm really looking to from Milwaukee. Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, I don't think I'd be going to these guys. DiVincenzo's been pretty limited as of late. I don't see too much else I like from Milwaukee outside of Giannis and Middleton. So we can move on to the next game. Let's talk about Minnesota and Memphis. So looking at the Timberwolves today, when it comes to this team, you're kind of going to be looking to the top 3 guys from Minnesota: Cat, Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell. Cat as a tournament play, I think is okay. I don't love Cat on this slate. Again, I think I'd rather be playing Giannis and Jokic. Probably if I could get to Steph, I think I'd take Steph over Cat. I think Cat will be very low owned. So anytime you can get a guy like Cat that has 60-plus point upside at low ownership, it's always appealing, but he's not going to be like a priority play for me or anything. Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell, I think both those guys are probably priced where they should be. Obviously, both have a ceiling, but neither one are going to project out as fantastic plays given where they're priced at. It's not like you're getting a major discount on them. Jared Vanderbilt's been playing really well lately, but he's up to 6,200 now, so I think at this price point, I'm fine just not playing Vanderbilt. Pat Bev at 5,300, you could maybe go to. You could argue that maybe he plays more minutes here because they need his defense against Ja Morant, which is possible. I don't know if these teams have played yet this year. They have played twice this year. Pat Bev's minutes as of late have not been great since he's come back from protocols. I think he's been out for injury. I honestly can't remember. But I think if you do get 30 minutes from Pat Bev, at 5,300, he could be an okay option. But there's not too much that really stands out from Minnesota today. I don't love a ton on this team. I think you're just kind of looking at tournament plays here. Low-owned dart throws, guys like Cat, Ant, Russell, Pat Bev as low-owned dart throws. On the Memphis side, though, Ja Morant at 9,200. Another guy that I think looks kind of appealing today. 37 minutes last game against Golden State, 50 DK points. He was fairly low-owned on that slate. It's going to be tough to gauge ownership, the night before, but I think Ja does come in fairly low-owned once again. So I do like him as a tournament option. We know Ja has upside. We know the minutes should be there as long as the game does stay close. He should get, mid to upper 30s minutes. Having no Dillon Brooks right now is definitely beneficial for Ja Morant. Dillon Brooks is a guy that does take a good amount of shots when he's on the floor. He's a relatively high usage player. I think getting him off the floor has been benefiting Ja. So definitely have some interest in Ja as a tournament option. Triple J has been smashing as of late. I think he has really benefited with Steven Adams out. They've basically been starting Triple J at center as of late with Adams out. Now, last game, he did get into some major foul trouble. He only played 22 minutes, and we know Triple J, he can always get in foul trouble. That's always an issue with him. But when he's been able to stay out of foul trouble, he's been a really productive player, especially these last 3 games, getting those minutes at center. We've seen his rebounds go through be through the roof. 8, 12, 11 rebounds the last few games. The defensive stats, these are things that are tough to predict, but he's been getting a ton of defensive stats: 5 blocks, 3 steals, 6 blocks, 1 steal, 3 blocks, 3 steals. I think Triple J at 7,200 does look appealing here, especially if Steven Adams remains out. Now, the one issue, or the one worry, I guess, is that if Triple J starts a center, that's going to be a boost for his fantasy value, but he would probably be matching up with Cat, and we know Cat is a aggressive big. He's a guy that can draw fouls, and obviously that is something you worry about with Triple J is the foul trouble. But man, if he stays out of foul trouble and if he gets low 30s minutes, he definitely has upside to pay off the 7,200 salary. So I think taking the risk on Triple J makes some sense. I do like him a good amount. If you want to play him on Yahoo, I think he looks solid over there. He was really low owned last slate. I'll be interested to see what his ownership is for today. Definitely have some interest in Triple J though on both sides. 7,200 on DK, $31 on Yahoo. Would feel better about him if Steven Adams sits, but I think even if Steven Adams plays, Triple J would still be a fine option. But again, like Steven Adams, if he plays at 5,600, like I think is okay, but he's been out for like a week now, so maybe if he does play today, there could be like a minutes limit for him because he's been out a week. We don't really know what his conditioning's like. So even if Steven Adams plays, I wouldn't be too excited about him. Kyle Anderson's been starting as of late. Last game he got 24 minutes. The game before that, 29 minutes. Kyle Anderson normally is a relatively decent point per minute player when he's on the court. So I think if he starts again, he probably plays close to 30 minutes. And at 5,100, definitely a viable option if you want to go there. Just kind of like as a mid-range, power forward or small forward. But that's really it from Memphis. I think we can go ahead and move on to the next game. Talk about the Clippers and the Pelicans. So looking at the Clippers today, still no Paul George, still no Kawhi Leonard. Without these two guys, I mean, we've seen kind of, it's been like, it's not been great as of late, but I still think the workload, the opportunities should be there for guys like Marcus Morris, Reggie Jackson. Amir Coffey had a massive game last game. He went for 43 DK points, played 43 minutes. So far, as of these last few games, we haven't really seen great performances from Marcus Morris. But again, I think the opportunity is going to be there. He's going to play big minutes if it's a close game. He's going to take plenty of shots. The usage should be there. 6,500, I think he's probably priced where he should be, but I still do have some interest in Marcus Morris today. And I think Reggie Jackson at 6K looks pretty appealing. Now, Reggie Jackson has not been great as of late, I will admit. I've been playing Reggie Jackson on some of these slates, and, it's not really gone well. But I still think 6K is probably a little bit too cheap for Reggie Jackson. With Kawhi and PG off the floor, the usage is going to be there. It's just a matter of, if he can get hot, if he can make shots. He started off terrible at that first half against Denver, and then he did have a better second half. He really turned things on in the fourth quarter. At 6K against the Pelicans, a pretty favorable spot. I think Reggie Jackson does look appealing today. I'm going to be interested to see what his ownership comes in at. He was relatively popular last slate. He projected pretty well in the projections, but even if he doesn't project that well today, I would like him still as a tournament option. I think 6K for Reggie Jackson, the upside is definitely there with Kawhi and PG still out. And on Yahoo at $19, I think you can definitely play Reggie Jackson on Yahoo too. So really like him and Morris. Bledsoe coming off the bench is a guy that's kind of tough to get excited about at 5,700. Amir Coffey, again, he played 43 minutes last game, had 43 DK points. Amir Coffey has never been a great point per minute player, but maybe without PG and without Kawhi, there's some opportunity for Amir Coffey. I think 5,200, you're kind of paying the max price for him right now. But I guess he's playable, especially if they're going to keep playing him these massive minutes. Terrence Mann's been coming off the bench. He's still been playing good minutes, but I think at 5K, again, he's probably priced where he should be. I do want to talk about Zubac as just kind of like a dart throw. Zubac, I thought last game against Denver, against Jokic, would play more just because they need some size out there, and they just played small last game. They played Ibaka Summit Center. They played Batum at center. In this matchup against J-Val, do they play Zubac more? I guess is a possibility. Zubac's probably nothing more than just a dart throw in tournaments, but I think in a matchup against a big like J-Val, maybe they want Zubac out there a little bit more. Maybe his minute ceiling is a little bit higher in this game, especially if he plays well. So I guess he's a viable dart throw, but that's probably it from this Clippers team. I think we talked about basically everyone that I have interest in here. And then on the Pelican side, Brandon Ingram at 8,900. He's coming off a big game against Minnesota, played 37 minutes, had 56 Draftkings points. We've kind of seen this year, Brandon Ingram will randomly pop off and put up these 50, 55-point games. But there's been a lot of games this year where he really disappoints. 30 DK points, 34 DK points. He's had some really low floor games. I think the ceiling is still there, but at 8,900, I think Brandon Ingram's probably priced where he should be. Obviously, he could put up 50-plus DK points again, but I don't think he really stands out at his price point. I think I'd rather play J-Val at a similar price point. J-Val, as of late, kind of been another frustrating guy to roster. He's had some really low floor games, 35 DK points last game against Minnesota, only 30 DK points against Golden State. But we know the massive upside is there for J-Val. I think this is a really good matchup against the Clippers. The Clippers are a team you can definitely beat down low. J-Val so far this year has gone nuts against the Clippers. Through 2 games, he's averaged 60 Draftkings points against them. I know he had a massive game. I think that might have been against the Clippers when he went nuts. I forgot where it is. I'm going to look through the Yahoo game log. So yeah, he put up 66 fantasy points in 32 minutes against them earlier this year, 39 points, 15 rebounds, and then they played again, and he put up 26 and 13, 46 fantasy points. So these teams have already played twice this year. J-Val dominated in both matchups. I think J-Val at 8,600 is a pretty appealing tournament option today. Definitely like him at the center position. For sure, one of my favorite plays from this Pelicans team. The rest of the Pelicans, though, I'm not too excited about. Josh Hart's going to start and play high 30s minutes. At 6,800, I think he's probably priced where he should be, though. So, yeah, that's probably it for the Pelicans. We can move on to the next game, OKC and Brooklyn. So this is one that I think we're going to have to watch the injury report. Well, mainly on the Brooklyn side because Brooklyn, they are on a back-to-back today. We'll talk about that in a second. Looking at OKC first, though, 8K for SGA. I think he's viable today. I do worry about blowout here, though, especially if Brooklyn winds up playing all their guys. Again, it's a back-to-back. I think there's a possibility that maybe one of KD or Harden could rest today. If that happens, I think it makes it more likely this game stays close. If both KD and Harden play today, there's obviously a lot of blowout risk here. But SGA, we know, has massive upside, and especially in the games that do stay close. When SGA plays his full 35, 36 minutes, I mean, he can put up 50, 55 DK points. He went for 49 last game against Washington in a game that stayed close. He played 35 minutes. I think he's a viable play at 8K. I think he's probably my favorite play from this OKC team in general. I don't see too much else, though, I love from OKC. Like, I think Giddey at 7K, probably priced where he should be. Not a guy that really stands out at that price point. Same with Lou Dort at 5,500. JRE started at center last game, played 28 minutes, but he was not really productive, only had 14 DK points. Not too excited about JRE either. So, yeah, it's probably just SGA as a tournament option, and that's really it from this OKC team. Again, on the Brooklyn side, we don't really know what's gonna happen here. So Brooklyn did have some guys questionable for Wednesday that got ruled out. So LaMarcus Aldridge did not play Wednesday. It looks like he doesn't expect him to play Thursday either. So Aldridge should be out today. Nicholas Claxton did not play Wednesday, and we don't really know if he's going to play Thursday or not. We actually did see them start Dairon Sharp at center. Dairon Sharp, we'll talk about him in a second. He's really cheap. He'd be a good value today. And then, KD and Harden, I mean, we don't really know if these guys are going to play. I think for now we just kind of have to assume they're going to play. It was a blowout against the Bulls on Wednesday, so that's at least worth noting. I don't think KD or Harden really played their full minutes. Harden still played. He played 33 minutes against the Bulls in a blowout, and then KD, on the other hand, played 30 minutes. Obviously, with it being a home game, Kyrie Irving is not going to play today since it's a home game. But it's a back-to-back. They're playing a really bad OKC team. I think there's at least like a 15-20% chance that one of KD or Harden winds up sitting today. Harden was questionable with some sort of injury Wednesday and wound up playing, so maybe he sits today. But for now, we'll just have to keep an eye on it. For now, I'm just going to assume that both KD and Harden play. If that's the case, I don't think either one stand out at their price points. Now, obviously, with Kyrie out today, that's going to definitely benefit KD and Harden. But they're priced, I think, probably where they should be. If I had to pick one, I think I'd side with Harden at 10-7. But I'd rather play Giannis. I think I'd rather play Jokic. I'd rather prioritize those studs over KD and Harden today. But value-wise, I do want to talk about some value from Brooklyn. So in a scenario where Nicholas Claxton is out again, we probably will see Dairon Sharp start at center. Dairon Sharp started at center on Wednesday against Chicago. He did get into some foul trouble, but did play 21 minutes, and he was really productive. Had 20 points, 7 rebounds, and a block. He fouled out in those 21 minutes. Look, Dairon Sharp's a guy that does struggle with fouls, but this is a great spot against OKC. He's been a really good point-per-minute player this year when he's gotten minutes. He hasn't seen much playing time, but as of late, they've been playing him more. How much do they really want to play Blake Griffin on a back-to-back? They probably don't want to play Blake Griffin that much today, so I think Dairon Sharp has a good possibility. There's a good possibility he starts at center once again. If he does start at center, he's going to be one of the better value plays on the slate. He's $11 on Yahoo. He's a power forward there. He's center on DraftKings, but he's $3,300. For now, I'm not going to include him in the early core plays, but definitely keep an eye on Brooklyn because this could be a team that we do get some value from. And, keep an eye on KD and Harden's status. I think there's at least a non-zero chance that one of KD or Harden sit today, given it's a back-to-back. But, yeah, that's it for Brooklyn. We can go ahead and move on to the last game of the night, talk about Portland and Denver. So Portland, man, I mean, they're depleted right now. You see all the guys that are out for Portland. No Damian Lillard, no CJ McCollum, no Norman Powell, no Larry Nance. All those guys have been out as of late. Pretty sure Cody Zeller is doubtful, so he's not expected to play. And also, Anthony Simons is out for personal reasons. So Anthony Simons has, he's been balling as of late with Dame and CJ out. Now Anthony Simons is out as well. So we'll go ahead and start off with the guy that I think really benefits, and that's Dennis Smith Jr. I'm expecting Dennis Smith Jr. to start at point guard in place of Simons. I'm expecting him to play a ton of minutes just because they don't really have anyone else. We've seen Dennis Smith Jr. when he's the starting point guard. He's had some good games with Portland this year. He hasn't gotten a ton of opportunity, but we did see that stretch whenever Dame and CJ and all those guys were out, and Dennis Smith Jr. was playing a lot of minutes back in early December. 37 minutes against Boston, 41 DK points, 39 minutes against the Clippers, 32 DK points. I think these are the kind of minutes we should expect for Dennis Smith Jr. today. Now, this Portland team, they're really bad right now. This is a game that does have some blowout risk. Right now, Denver's favored by 9.5. I don't think Dennis Smith Jr. would play in a blowout, but he's just so cheap at 4K. If he plays like 28, 30 minutes, he's pretty likely to pay off this price tag. He's a clear value play today. He's the thumbnail for a reason. I think Dennis Smith Jr., one of the best value options overall today. Obviously the sites did not adjust his price tag for Simons being out. $12 on Yahoo. I mean, he looks great over there. So love Dennis Smith Jr. today. I think Yusuf Nurkic, like his upside is through the roof here. I will say, though, that this is definitely a scary spot going up against Jokic. Nurkic is a guy that does struggle with fouls, and obviously Jokic is someone that can draw a lot of fouls. So far this year, when these teams have played, Nurkic has not been good at all. He's really struggled against Jokic. But man, like they're going to need Nurkic to be the entire offense. I think you're going to see the ball in Nurkic's hands a lot. Dennis Smith Jr. is going to bring the ball up the court. He's going to get it to Nurkic, and then Nurkic is just going to try and make something happen. So I think the upside's there for Nurkic if this game can stay close. We saw him almost put up a triple-double against Sacramento. I don't want to say that he has triple-double upside, but 50-plus point upside is definitely there today. It's just, tough matchup, foul trouble risk, blowout risk. But if the game does stay close, I would not be surprised if Nurkic goes off today. So I do like him as a tournament option. Robert Covington and Nasir Little, given where they're priced at, almost 6K, like I don't think either one are great options. Covington's been really solid as of late, but he's normally not a guy that really creates his own shot. When Covington has good games, it's usually because he racks up a bunch of steals and blocks. He gets rebounds. He's not a guy that's going to take 15, 20 shots. He's just going to stand in the corner and shoot threes. So I don't know if Simons being out really benefits Covington. I think Nasir Little is someone that can kind of create his own shot. We've seen Little go out there and shoot the ball 12, 15 times some games. 5,600, I think he's probably priced where he should be, but I do think Little is at least viable today. Ben McLemore, though, I think is someone they are going to look to for offense. He did shoot the ball a lot, and he's been shooting the ball a lot when he's been on the court. These last few games, he's been playing pretty good minutes. Played 31 minutes against Brooklyn last game, played 25 minutes in a game he got in foul trouble in. We've seen him, starting at shooting guard as of late. I'm expecting Dennis Smith Jr. to start in place of Simons, and then Ben McLemore, he'll remain the starting shooting guard. I mean, again, they're going to need offense with Simons off the floor. I think Ben McLemore might shoot the ball 15, 20 times today. Now, he's never a guy that I feel great rostering just because he is a scoring-dependent player, but he's 4,200. He probably plays over 30 minutes if this game stays close. They're going to need someone to score the ball, so I think Ben McLemore as a value option does make some sense at 4,200. I do like him as kind of like a first-look value, and then on Yahoo, if you want to play him there, he's very cheap on Yahoo too. $12 at shooting guard. I like Ben McLemore quite a bit as a first-look value play. But the rest of the Portland bench guys, I wouldn't be going to any of these guys. They just haven't shown the inclination to play any of these guys decent minutes. I think the only way that one of these bench guys has a really good game is if it turns into a blowout. So not too much interest there. I think I'd mainly just be focusing on the starters from Portland. But yeah, that's it for Portland. We can talk about Denver now before we end this video. So Nikola Jokic, 12.5. I mean, Jokic, coin flip between him and Giannis. I think him and Giannis are two of the best pay-up options on the slate. I think they both are going to project very similarly. The matchup against Nurkic, I think, is one that Jokic can easily have success in. At this point, I think Jokic is basically matchup-proof. He can go out there and put up 65, 70 any night. For what it's worth, he put up 52 DK points in only 27 minutes against Portland earlier this year, and he was 1 assist and 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. So, he could have had a way better game if he gets the triple-double bonus. I think Jokic is, neck and neck with Giannis in terms of, best pay-up option today. I think Will Barton, if he does play, he's probable right now. He kind of looks appealing as a mid-range, shooting guard. Will Barton, he's been out for just a few games, so I would expect there'd probably be no limit on him. He should get back to play in his normal 33, 34 minutes. And at 5,900, I still think Will Barton's viable. The rest of the Denver guys, though, I'm not too excited about. Aaron Gordon had a really good game last game, but I think he really benefited with Will Barton out. I think with Will Barton now returning, probably going to make Aaron Gordon, not a viable option. Monte Morris at 4,900, I don't have that much interest in. He's just not been that productive this year. When Will Barton and Aaron Gordon and Jokic are all healthy, it's just really hard for Monte Morris to put up, ceiling games. So I think for Denver, I think we talked about everything here. Really, Jokic is the priority play, and then I think Will Barton as a viable, mid-range guard option makes some sense. But that's it for Denver, and that's it for this little 5-game Thursday slate. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, I do appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy, please click that like button down below. Click the subscribe button as well if you have not yet. Go check out the sponsor of the video. Go sign up for PrizePicks. Use code NOAH when you do, and PrizePicks will match your first deposit. They'll give you a free bet up to $100 when you sign up with my code. You can take a look at their NBA board for Thursday, make some picks for NBA. Again, you can make it, or you have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 5 picks win up to 10 extra money over there. You can mix and match sports. Obviously, we have the NFL playoffs starting this weekend, so if you want to get some NFL picks in, you can take a look at their NFL board. They have NFL stuff posted. You can, again, mix and match sports, do a couple NBA picks, do a couple NFL picks, potentially win up to 10 extra money. Again, guys, if you want to sign up for Prize Picks, go sign up over there and use code NOAH, so that way you do get that deposit bonus when you do sign up. And if you want some of my favorite picks each day on Prize Picks, along with the entries that I'm playing myself, that's available for Patreon members. Check that out. It's linked down below in the description. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you did enjoy, and we will see you in the next one.